first, here are, that's the wrong one. All right. We want to review for a quiz tomorrow. You guys said you understood this pretty good, so we're just going to jump right in and do a quiz. So, what's that?
If we were in school, we're supposed to have a quiz last Wednesday.
Yes. So, first off, as you see up here, no amble this Friday because of that's like a standing rule going forward. If we have a snow day, we automatically come on Friday just so we don't get behind. We're now getting to the end of the semester, and so we are on a serious time crunch to get everything in before the end of the semester. We have an entire chapter to go by end of next week. We got to do the chapter and take a test by the end of next week. And then we have our final week, which is review and midterm. So what we're going to do over this is we're going to review today, just to kind of hit the highlights today of this. And then I am going to give you a kind of, lack of a better term, take-home quiz over all this conic section stuff. And then when we have a test at the end of next week, next Friday, we're going to have a test over all of this. It will be on that test. And the other chapters. We'll have one test left with everything over these two chapters together to get through. And then the final week of the semester will be review for 2 days and then the midterm. And we will spend 2 days on the midterm. For those of you that are in CCP, remember, how much is your midterm worth? 25% of your grade. So a quarter of your grade comes down to this test. If you were not in CCP, it would just be a regular percent final, like normal. Okay. All right. So, and we're trying to. I said we got a lot of stuff to get through. We've had messed up time, whether I was out or we were online, and this is assuming we are in school the rest of this semester. So. Now remember, originally when we did all of these things, we said you're going to be able to use an index card, right, for the test. Now we're doing this, we'll have an index card or a formula sheet for the next week. If we're taking this kind of, I'm going to send this home review kind of take-home quiz. It's not going to be worth a full quiz, but it'll be that idea. Obviously, it'll be open notes. So I'm going to ask you to be honest, don't cheat, talk to other people, all that kind of stuff, but you can use your notes and help as you go through that. So that's on you to be kind of honest how you do it. So what we're going to do here is just kind of go through, talk our way through all this. So if you have your notes and you want to have out your formula sheets, do we know the formulas for parabolas and the formulas for ellipses and how you find the foci and how you find the directrix and how you find the focus and all that kind of stuff. If you got all that on top of your head, that's great. You don't need your formulas, but if you want to get those out and kind of make it easier to go through. So my question for you today, we are in here 55, we have about 20 minutes to go through these. So my question is, do you want me just to talk my way through these as review for you? Or do you want to try them and then go over them, try them and go over them? If we do it that way, I'm not sure we're going to get through all of them. We're going to have to go pretty quick. Or do you at least want to get a minute or two on each one to think about what you would do first?
A minute or two.
A minute or two? Okay, so let's do that. So the first one, find the equation of a parabola. Vertex is 1, -3, and focus is at 3, -3. So the first thing I would do would be that, right? Draw a picture. I forget this. vertex actually on the hyperbola or?
Yes. Well, this is the parabola.
Correct.
This is the parabola. Once you draw that picture, the first thought you want to have is, which way does it open?
Great.
If you know which way it opens, and you have, think of your four basic shapes of a parabola. Think about opening to the right. What's the basic formula? You gotta decide, is it an x squared? Or is it a y squared? Y squared. Is it a positive or a negative? So our basic formula is like that. Now we know our vertex. Right there. I'm going to stop and I'm going to give you a minute to think about what's the p value. Don't say it out loud. Just give you a second to think about what is the p value. What's our p? Two. Because the distance from here to there is our p, which is 2. So we get an 8 right there.
What kind of equation do you have to do the division? Like you plug in the divide by 4 and that was the way that when you're given the equation.
That's when you're given the equation. Like if I was given this equation and there's an 8 there, to find p, I'd have to take 8 equals 4p, divide by 4 to get my 2 out. All right, next one. Find the equation of an ellipse. Once again, draw a picture. Is your A underneath your X or your Y? It's underneath your Y. So where's our center? 1, 0. So we have and we know it's going to be underneath our Y. So what is our A? Four. Goes to the vertex. That means that's 16. What's to the 2? Our foci, that is our C. And then we got to find our B, which for an ellipse, it's C squared is A squared plus, so here it is minus, so we get C squared is A squared minus B squared. So that's 4, 16 minus B squared, so that means B is the square root of 12. Another one? Do hyperbola. Do the same thing. Draw a picture. Draw a picture. We have based on the vertices, which way does it open? Left and right. Square root of 58 is going to be 7 something or other. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be right there. So that tells me my A is 3. My C is the square root of 58. Where's my center? 0. So, is the x squared, remember hyperbola is different, right? The x squared changes which one's first because you have a minus sign, so the order matters. So what's first, the x or the y, if this opens left and right? X. So this is x squared minus y squared equals 1. A is 3, so we need to find the b. And for hyperbola, it's c squared is a squared plus b squared. So 59, 58, excuse me. So b is 7. So right here would be 49. All right. The next three, parabola, ellipse, hyperbola, are now you are given the equation and you want to sketch a graph. So, in some ways, I think these are easier than the last three we did, right? Because you're given the equation to find. So, if we're given a parabola here,
My vertex is -2, 1. Which way does this open? Up. What's my P? And this was what you asked before, was how do you find the P? It's going to be 1, because this 4 in front is 4P, so P is 1. So there is my focus, because it opens up. My directrix equals 0. The last thing we use, remember the lattice rectum?
Yes.
How wide it is? From our focus, we go how far each way? To P, which P is 1. So we're going to go 2. An ellipse. Our center is 1, -2. Now, as we go to the graph, we can tell under in the x direction, which is left and right, based on what's under the x, how far am I going? 3. So I go left 3, right 3. In the y direction, I go 4. So remember, for an ellipse, if you want to make a note somewhere, make this note. For an ellipse, A is always the bigger one. A is always the bigger one. For a hyperbola, A is always the first. And so here is our graph. My vertices are 1, so minus 4, -2. Oops, I did that backwards. Sorry. Erase. Gotta delete everything. Sorry. Try that again. I should add and subtract to my -2. What's my C here? Square root of 7, because you subtract 4. All right, last one. Hyperbola. My center, once again, is 2, -1. My A is 1. My B is 2. Because remember, for a hyperbola, A is always the first one, not the bigger one. And then I add these together for a hyperbola because it's a minus. So I get to this. Hyperbola is the hardest one to graph because we need all of that box and the diagonals and all that other kind of stuff just to help us get the graph down. So let's review how we do that. We go to our center. Underneath the y is 1. So I go up 1, down 1. Underneath the x, I go left and right 2. For those 4 dots, I draw the box. And then I draw the diagonals. Now, which way does this open? Up or down, or left or right?
Up and down.
Up and down. How do you know that?
Y is first.
Y is first. So A is underneath the Y. So from here, that tells me that these 2 points are my vertices. So my vertices are 2, -1, plus or minus 1. And my foci are 2, -1, plus or minus square root of 5. All right, I'm going quick here. I'm going to put this video up and all this up on YouTube here today also. All right. First off, let's do the easy part of these two. Label, what type are they? 10. Parabola, ellipse, hyperbola, circle. Remember 10. Parabola, how do you know it's parabola? Only the x is squared, so that tells me that is a parabola. We'll talk about finding the vertex in the center in a second. Number 11, ellipse, hyperbola, circle. First off, both are squared, right? Not a parabola. It's plus, so that tells me it cannot be a hyperbola. You look at the number in front of the x squared and y squared. If the number in front of the x squared and y squared is the same, then it is a circle. If they're different, it is a ellipse. All right. The last thing we need to do then would be to complete the square. We only got about a minute. Would be to complete the square to be able to find the center. Notice I'm not going to ask you to find like the full thing. I'm more concerned here that you understand how to tell what type it is. Okay? So, instead of passing out, is a take-home quiz. This is worth 10 points. So normal quiz is 20. This is worth 10. This is due Friday. Okay, so you got 2 days. The test will be at the end of next week. So we gotta do chapter 11 here the rest of this week and next week before we get to the test. And the test will be open, like you can use your notes or next card, piece of paper, formulas and all that kind of stuff for the test. So for this quiz, it's open.